up, you guys? It's Mary.
And Amma.
Be my chance to like,
Share.
subscribe,
And comment.
comment down below. Today we are gonna. I know, Paka. Oh, shout out to the lady that told me the whole thing with Paka doing a click click click. Apparently, it's called cat chattering.
Oh wow!
Yes, I was totally joking about our cat being broke, But yeah, I didn't know that was actually a thing.
I know.
Now I know.
We have had a total of 6 cats.
We've had 6 cats, and
Four
they've never
and
done
two
that
one time.
before.
They've never done that. So this is, and I don't know if it's. Oh wow, she's really going in there,
Breaking my basket. Anyway,
Anywho.
but yeah, so totally new. They had no idea that's what that was.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and talk about Hillsong, you guys. This is the final, I think.
It's the final episode of the whole Hillsong documentary that was done.
Yeah. Apparently they were stealing funds from the students and everything, and there was a record of whether you had sex or had done drugs, and this was typically held over the students' heads, and it would kind of affect them from having certain opportunities in the church and everything.
Yeah.
Everyone was forced to sign an NDA,
That hair is in her
which
mouth.
she's
She
okay.
got the hair in her mouth, so okay, maybe it's gone. You see, it's at the back. It's behind her. Oh boy. Ugh. Anywho.
Anyway, but yes, so I never had to sign an NDA when I went to SCAD, so that's very odd.
It's very odd
It's
for
actually
you
very, very
to
odd.
have to sign an NDA for
Because you're
anything
doing
when you're in
fraudulent
college.
behavior,
That's very, very weird. But I think we left off last time that Brian Houston, the founder's son, had been taken to court
Yeah.
for
Knowing about his nasty daddy,
Yeah, his father.
raping a young boy.
Yes, raping
Yeah.
young boys. I think they had a total of, it was 8 counts of it. And so he was, so he was going to be going to courts for that. I think the case is still going on because they said
Yeah.
something was going to happen January 2023.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll come out and do kind of like an update on that. But he did resign
Yeah.
from kind of active church duties. However, a couple of months ago, he was out there preaching.
Yeah.
Not to
He actually
any
went on a
major
tour,
church,
like
but he
to
went
8
and he
to many-
preached. Yeah,
Yeah, to 8 small churches.
Small churches.
Yeah.
So this is what they're talking about when you cover up. Like they wait until kind of the dust settles,
Yeah.
and then they bring these guys out. Even
Right.
Carl Lentz, after his whole affair, found out that he was having when they finally counted, he had
an affair with 5 women, including his nanny.
nanny. And this is a man who's married with kids. Now he's talking about, he looks forward to coming back and preaching, like having a redemption story, but without healing. Like, I mean, it's like that. This
That
happens all the
arrogance.
time,
Yeah.
right? Preachers are found doing some foolish stuff. Okay, whether it's they had an affair or whatever, their wives come, stand next to them, talk about they forgive them. They blame whoever they were having an affair with, whether it was a man
the same
or a
thing
woman.
with Derek Jackson, wasn't it?
You
While
know,
the woman was cursing everybody.
And then all of a sudden they have some redemption song, and oh great, you are here and whatever. Yes, we love you. It's foolishness.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just absolute foolishness.
Yeah, it really was.
And it doesn't really stop anyone watching that. Like other pastors, if you wanted to do something wrong, it's not really going to stop you from doing something wrong. You know why? Because it's kind of like a slap on the wrist. They have seen the example.
Yeah, absolutely.
The wonderful thing though, that girl who was in school, who they tried to shame because she had sex with her boyfriend, and they, took them out of the workshops that they were doing with other like freshman students. She left the church.
Yeah.
She left the church, then found out that her father, when he was younger, he had left another cult-like church. And I'm not going to say Hillsong is a cult.
Because they said, was that her dad had left the church apparently.
It was another church where he was it was like a
where
cult.
It was a sex cult.
Exactly.
And they were involved heavily in child pornography. Mm-hmm. And the name of the church was called Children of God.
Yeah.
That's why I can't stand about people who use religion to do their sick, demonic shit.
It's really upsetting. Sick. It's really upsetting.
That's nasty.
So she left, and I was so happy that she left, and then found out later on that her father, when he was young, their family had been part of this church that there really was a cover for these sex operations with minors. Really, it's not that it's assault. It's rape.
It's rape.
So, and sometimes maybe as parents we need to talk to our children about that, so that she can see when she's in this church, she could have seen earlier perhaps.
Yeah.
You know that, oh, you know something? This kind of sounds like what my dad is saying. Even though, okay, there's no like sex trafficking here or anything like that, but maybe she would have been able to see some parts of cult-like behavior.
I think it's very important from you used to do this with us all the time. You always ask us whenever we had gone somewhere or whatever, has anybody touched you inappropriately today or whatever.
I asked all my nieces and nephews.
Yeah. And everybody thought my mom was crazy. But
I put them on the counter.
Yeah.
Look them in the eye. Has anyone touched you inappropriately? And my nieces and nephews, they remember. Like, so it's like for them, it's like ding, 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 ding. No one is supposed to touch me in my private areas. These are my personal spots.
Yeah.
That only I get to see and touch.
Yeah.
You know?
And I thought it was huge because, for me, it made me know that, I'm, at least from a young age, I'm aware that this is wrong. So it's not like if an adult comes to me or whatever in some weird way, it's not like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, it's my fault or whatever. Yeah. Mom has already told me no. So it helped me to be hyper aware and vigilant of people. Because there was even, there was this one sickie who, remember our nanny, she was always hanging around him and his family and all this stuff. And I think it was around 13, I was thinking 13 or 14, he would always try to call me sexy and all this stuff. Yeah. Mind you, he was married, had 3 kids and everything. Yeah. So, I was able to know this man is weird. Mom, exactly. I don't know what this nanny doing, but talk to her because this man being weird. Exactly. So, I was able to be like, okay, You
have to make children aware. And one of the things that I even like, because I was talking to my kids from when they could talk.
Right.
And having this conversation with them, like, no one is supposed to touch you here or stuff like that. But they started off in public school before I homeschooled them. And I remember, I think you were in 1st grade.
Yeah.
You were 6. And they sent, the school sent something to the parent that we're going to be talking about, like sexual assault. Like children, like what you have to look out for. No one should touch you here. And they sent this letter out. Is it okay that your child not participate, but comes to this conversation? And I was like, yes, no problem, not at all. Yeah. And for me, I was like, wow, they're really starting early. Even though I started once they could talk, I was having that conversation with them. But I was happy to hear that in the school, 1st grade, they're having this talk with them.
Yeah.
Because these are the conversations. Because if not, you kind of leave your child out there. You want to think and believe that these things will not happen to children, but they do.
Yeah.
They do. They happen to not only young kids, they happen to young adults who are just starting out. So it's a conversation you have to have. Your child has to be comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be able to tell you, I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago, did you guys hear about that woman who owned a daycare?
Oh, and her husband was there touching all of the kids.
That?
It was about 20 of them that he was touching and everything.
Kids. But you know what was the thing that I was great about it was that when it occurred, the children actually reported.
Yeah.
They reported to her. They felt comfortable enough to report to her, and then she had to let their parents know.
Yeah.
And then went and met her husband in some hotel and shot him.
My thing is, I don't
And I
know if
think
they
she's-
reported it
I think
immediately
she was
because
arrested, but
obviously it got
still-
to. I don't know if they reported it immediately. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm mad sleepy. I'm not really feeling well. But yes, so my thing is, I don't know if they reported it immediately because he got to 18 kids.
It was 18 children.
You know?
I know.
And it was right underneath her nose. You know, that was
And I don't know. We are going to cover that.
We talked about it.
I know that
I wanna
want to like do the update.
Yeah.
I know she was arrested. I don't know if she's out on bond.
I think she shot him.
But she shot him in the leg. She shot him dead, but she shot him in the leg.
She should have. She should have.
Because
if you wait on the justice system,
we don't cover the violence on this channel, so we will leave it at that. But it was very, very sad.
Yeah, very, very sad.
It was very, very sad. But going back to Hillsong, it's like they had so many things that they were covering up. They had pastors having these, it was kind of like they were like a fraternity.
A frat house.
This male fraternity where they get to have these orgies. And I wonder if it was just with women, probably with also men. These drinking and all this stuff going on. And people knew. Some people reported it. Some of them were fired. You know? So this went all the way to the top. And you honestly cannot tell me that Brian Houston had no idea.
Yeah, that man was not
I'm
innocent.
not buying that nonsense. I'm not.
I mean, he even knew about his daddy's relationship with the child.
And then come to find out that he was cheating on his wife, Brian Houston. He was having an affair. In fact,
drugs.
He went into a woman's room, he said. Some hotel room. He thought it was his room. He was sleepwalking or some rubbish.
He went in there, stayed there for an hour, probably trying to coerce her into sex. You don't go to somebody's room and stay there unless you are high on crack cocaine or something.
And then he makes these dumb excuses as if they're not even taking their stuff seriously. Because who's going to believe you that you were sleepwalking?
I mean, honestly, this is the same man who went and called his daddy. This is the same man who went to call the victim of his dad's sexual abuse and told him, "You as an 8-year-old tempted my daddy to go do that stuff."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, it was so effing nasty, just nasty.
I just wonder, also though too, what trauma he went through with that father.
It's just nasty. How you gonna blame an 8-year-old who's living? Because kids are so pure and innocent.
Yeah.
Like they really don't have any clue or idea what this whole sick world has going on.
They really don't.
So you saying that just goes to show how you probably feel about women. He's probably the type of man who will go and say, "Oh, if a woman is there wearing a low-cut shirt, she wanted me to rape her because look at how she's dressed, ready to love. Oh, your goodies are all out on display. You must want it.
You want me to look right."
As he was there harassing her,
so I can feel good about myself, not so you can leer at me.
I know, and he's like, "Well, no, you want it. Oh my God, you're so sexy. You're so sexy." And then he was some nasty freak from France. And he's talking about how, I've been in Georgie and Paris, and I know Dolce and Gabbana. I was like,
But yeah,
Paris is known for all of that whole sex scene.
Well, all I know is their men cheat, and it's a known thing. They cheat on their wives. It's accepted. They have their mistresses. It's accepted. That's why I'll never.
The wife could be shopping at the same grocery store as the mistress, and they both know of each other, and they keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's just what it's just accepted in Paris, I guess.
Paris.
But they covered up. They covered up all the sex stuff that they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise, and covered all this debauchery that they were doing right there in the church. So it's no surprise that they were covering the stuff up about the fraud.
Yeah, of course.
About fraud, like taking money, because Hillsong was making really billions of dollars, bringing in a whole bunch of money. We talked about it.
They didn't even register it as a nonprofit. They registered it as a business.
Well, yeah,
and they had, I think they said they had 8 businesses across the U.S. I believe.
Oh yeah. So they were taking some of that money, buying designer purses, I mean, even you look at Carlent, like from head to toe,
Louis Vuitton and all this
like
stuff.
I don't know
Remember
why
when
a
his
preacher has
pelvic
to
was
wear
showing?
a $20,000 shoe or any of that stuff. Like there are people out here really who need assistance. They come to the church. You don't need to wear a $20,000 shoe. You can do something for the poor.
I just
but
think
they
it's so
God,
weird when people who I mean, obviously people have to make a living and stuff, but I always find it weird when people who are like, you know, pastors or whatever, like if you are somebody who is talking about the word of God, I find it very odd if you are decked out in designer. Like you are trying, I would feel like you will try to be someone who's humble, who's trying to actually help, you know, people or the poor. I mean, if I, you know, inshallah, one day when I become rich or whatever, most of my money will be going to charity. Like I would not be sitting down here ever to go buy like $1 million necklace or some crazy stuff like that. That's so stupid. Like that. When you have people who are starving, you have people that you could actually be helping. You could be creating communities and all this stuff.
I can't
and like,
see myself.
That's just barbaric to me.
Insane. Now I might buy a nice purse because I love purses.
Look, I might buy myself a nice pair of Louboutin shoes.
I don't see myself
spending
going insane. I need 10 designer purses. I really don't.
Yeah.
I may buy one or two, but I can't see myself doing that, going that nuts.
Yeah.
Especially you're there in the church. So there was a lot of fraud that this woman, what's her name, Natasha, found.
Yeah.
And she brought it to the attention. They fired her. So she's taking them to court. That's another case.
Yeah.
That's going to be handled this year. So this saga doesn't end. But I say all of this, the one thing that just breaks my heart is the fact that, because I loved some of the Hillsong songs. I just loved them.
I had no idea you even knew them, honestly.
You know that Lauren Daigle, some of her songs.
I will trust. Is that song?
Yeah.
Oh, I will trust is a Hillsong
I think
song?
she sang in that church before. If I'm not mistaken, that's how I found out about her.
I like that song. I will trust.
And she has some other beautiful songs, but Hillsong has a lot of beautiful songs, and so many young people came to the church to
feel like they found a safe haven.
A safe haven, feel like they're close to God. And I just feel as though these men did such a disservice to them. And the fact that you guys have done so much wrong and you're hurrying to come back. And you know why? Because of that vanity.
Yeah.
Like Carlent. I don't want to see you at a podium anymore. Even after you get your healing, you don't have to go to a podium.
No.
You can, you know, be a mentor to other preachers or whatever, but you don't need to be there anymore.
No.
But the fact that they're running back, what it shows me
they
is
missed
that vanity.
Power, they missed the sex, they missed the drugs, they missed the alcohol, they missed that whole lifestyle. But the thing is, it's kind of hard for you to go back to that once you've been exposed. And I don't know who
they have made it very
following.
easy. They've made it too easy, I think, for the longest time, for preachers to be able to just come back.
Which I feel like
come back with open arms, and you've done all the wrong in the world. You've effed up some people's lives for years, decades, for their whole life, and you come back with open arms. I don't think it's right.
No, it's actually very wrong.
It's still going to come. But the heartbreaking thing is, a lot of these young people, I hope that they will realize that this has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with broken men.
Yeah, absolutely.
Broken men. I mean, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that were not really following. They were hypocrites, you know?
Yeah.
And so you strive. No one has to intercede. Like you can talk directly to God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can still go to Hillsong.
Yeah,
if that's
for sure.
where you feel like you found your purpose. That's where you felt closest to God. You can still go there.
Yeah.
But always go there with your mind that I'm not going to put man in front of God.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to look at Carlent or whoever pastor is in front of me, because men were just men, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to put this person as a God besides God. Because that's one of the commandments, right? Thou shalt have no other God before me.
Right.
You can't take any idols. You know, I know we have our idols. Oh, this person is my idol. This is my celebrity idol or celebrity crush. We're not to have idols before God.
Yeah.
You know, so when if you go back to Hillsong, go back with that thought. But go back. Don't stay away if that's where you found your purpose or anything like that because of the mistakes, the horrendous actions of a few broken men.
And you know, I
that's
also
what I will say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's just, I'm just going to wrap up with this last statement. I think it's very important for everyone to know that you don't necessarily have to go to church or go to the mosque to talk to God.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that from
everywhere.
the comfort of your home. Like they say, I think it's in the Quran that God is closer to you than your jugular vein.
Yeah.
And your jugular vein is right here.
Yeah.
So if that's true, which I believe it is, you really don't have to go far. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you can just do it right in your home just by putting your hands out and having a conversation. As long as your intentions are pure, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? People feel like something you have to go or whatever, which, it's great to go and stuff like that. But don't get swept up in it all the time.
Yeah.
You can't really depend on
it's
man
everywhere,
to teach you about your relationship with God. You have to really just create that on your own.
Remember, he's our creator.
Yeah.
And he's a part of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but yeah, I think that was everything, you guys. It's Mary.
And Amma.
You invite us to like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment
down below. Bye.